know, Jacky lived to be 82, so there's a lot of memories, but I just jotted down a few things from when we first met. My earliest memory of first meeting Jacky is Fred and I were on a date, and Fred brought Jacky with him. It was interesting.
Kind of hard.
It was interesting to say the least, that it was
She
interesting.
didn't realize when she married me that it was going to be my brother too.
I remember the first time we went to see him at the state school back in 1949 after Fred's mom passed away. The family.
You didn't go 49.
No, back in 1949, they made the decision, his family made the decision that they thought the best thing for Jacky would be to go to the state school in Whitehaven. So as soon as Fred got his driver's license, he would go pick him up to bring him home on the weekends. And I remember the first time he took me along and we drove up to that. It wasn't a nice place, let's just put it that way. Jacky looked like he could be one of the employees rather than one of the residents there. In 1964, Fred's aunt got a call from the state school saying they reevaluated and they felt that Jacky wasn't mentally retarded enough to be there. He had been there for 15 years. They wanted to know if he could come and live back at home, at the home on Pine Street here. And I was there when she got the call, and I remember the call coming in, and they said, we're opening up a workshop that's down the road, just a block away. He'd be able to walk to it, and he can work at that workshop. They wouldn't have to do anything except provide for him his food and lodging. And I remember her saying, and she was also an RN, she had worked as an inspector of nursing homes, so she pretty much knew the way things were. And she said, I know what's going to happen. She said, in 6 months, that place is going to close, and where's that going to leave Jacky? And they said, oh, well, if it doesn't work out, we'll take him back. And she said, no, I'd never do that to him. If he comes home, he stays home. And sure enough, within 6 months, that workshop shut down. But he always found a place to work. He worked at Price's, he worked at a meat packing place that, who owned that? Falabelle's? And he worked at the ice plant, Computa's ice plant, for a long time. So he always found things, you know, to keep him busy. And of course, we had only been married a year, I guess, when he actually came back home. So
when he came back home, and I left the service, and he was the man of the house. So he took care of the grass. He plowed the snow. He put the air conditionings in the windows. He put the storm and screens in. He took care of the neighbor's property. He would plow their snow and shovel it and stuff. And he did this all by hand. It wasn't a power mower, it was a hand mower. And he was pretty strong. Jacky was a strong guy, and he was a special brother.
Once I decided, I didn't know why the school didn't really teach him anything. You know, they never taught him how to read. They never taught him how to write. So once I decided to take on the task of trying to teach him how to print his name. So we sat at the dining room table on Pine Street, and I printed it out, John, which is middle name.
Mars.
And then Gimby. For some reason, John was all capitalized, the M was capitalized, but Gimby wasn't. So you had G-I.M-B, and that was capitalized, and then I again. So he wanted to make the dots over the I. And for some reason, it only took me, I would say, a few hours to teach him how to print his name. And from that point on, up until recently when he had the strokes, he would print his name. You know, he would write things down, print his name.
You know how to tell time on a real clock.
Yeah, yeah, just kind of watch the numbers on it. I'm just going to skip forward to when he lived with the aunts, and when the last aunt passed away in 2001, the family said, you know, Jacky really can't be by himself. Were we interested in having him come live with us? So we had a family meeting with the kids that were still home, and they all agreed and said, yeah, we would have him come live with us. And 2001 was a really interesting year. We had a lot of stuff happening. One of our daughters got married that year. Jacky moved in that year. Just a very busy year. And some of the family members and some friends didn't think that was a wise decision with some of the behavior issues that we would be dealing with, but it's Fred's brother, so we took him in. And then, of course, we were in New Jersey for so many years, and then we ended up, moving him back here with us too. When we lived in Jersey, he loved to walk. He would walk up to the gas station, he would walk up to the deli. He even helped them out at the deli every once in a while, I thought, oh my gosh, he's cleaning up after it. Like, I don't know how clean it was when he got done.
He helped the mail lady load up the bags in the mail truck, and he just would help anybody,
And then, of course, Pastor mentioned about the fact that he would go down to West Penn Park. He loved watching the games down there, especially when Zion Stone Church was playing, because he knew a lot of people from that church. He would spend hours down there. And then, of course, he always went to the retreat with us. He was always with us at church. He even did the bulletins for a while at church. He felt like that was his job. He would fold the bulletins. They might not have been folded too straight. In 2015 is when he really started having some major health issues. He fell at home and broke his hip, and then went to rehab in hometown for a little bit, and then he started having falls in 2016, which some of the behaviors he had were dangerous. He would leave water running. He would come down without using the chairlift. He was just getting to be a danger to himself and to us, because Fred was always concerned about, did he fall again? Did he fall again? It wasn't until last year, well then they put him in a memory care place because he was diagnosed with dementia. At the memory care place, he had fallen again and he broke his other hip. So 2016 he broke his hip again, and at that point our doctor said, look, he's had so many falls within an 18-month period, he is nursing home eligible, and he said, for your sake and for his sake, I think that's where he needs to be. So we did a lot of research. We decided on the one here in Hazleton because family was close by. And he seemed to do well there, but he wasn't at the behavioral center for a matter of weeks when he actually fell again and broke his hip. That's why he came to Hazleton for rehab and stuff like that. It was a hard decision to make to send him to the nursing home because I always felt like he was my 7th kid. He kind of resented the fact that I mothered him. There was a lot of times, just like our own kids, he was not too happy with some of the things I would make him do or say to him. And I couldn't even remember saying to him, Jackie, look, I have to do this way for you. You're like my kid, and I would do this for one of my kids. This behavior is not allowed. You can't do this, you can't do that. It's for your own good.
And I was the bad brother, because I'm the one that had to take him to the doctors.
So, then about 18 months ago, he had a brain bleed, and he was taken over to Lehigh Valley in Allentown. And at that point, they diagnosed him with a cerebral condition where he's been having brain bleeds. We actually were able to see. They were actually able to get an MRI done, and they showed us where he had been having brain bleeds all along.
For 30 years.
And probably started when he had his major brain injury back
28 years ago at the racetrack.
86, was that? 86.
You got hit by a 1-pound rock at the racetrack.
What year that was?
In the 90s.
But anyway, so it probably wasn't a true dementia that he was having. He probably was having the brain bleeds all along. Yeah, he'll be missed. We were missing him even at home when I would go into his room. It was just really sad because he was here, but he wasn't here. So for a long time, it was really sad to have his room empty. And the verse the verse that do you have your Bible?
No,
The Bible with you? Pastor, you have a Bible with you? Nobody? Okay. Huh?
I can look it up.
Oh yeah. The verse that I always thought of with Jackie, and I actually couldn't find it last night. I was going over it with my one daughter, and I said, now I'm going to pull out one of my old Bibles, the one I got when I had needed large print, and I actually found it, and right above it has written down Jackie, and it's 1 Thessalonians 5:14.
I'm looking.
You wanna read it?
If I can get it.
It talks about the weaker. Can you get it on NIV, or do you have NIV?
I'm trying to get.
Because that's the one I had it actually written on.
Where?
You wanna hold it?
Here. First Thessalonians what?
1 Thessalonians 5:14.
Thank you. Wait, do you want me to read it? Or you want-
Sure.
So this is right, is it, and we urge you, brothers?
Yeah.
Okay, and we urge you, brothers and sisters, warn those who are idle and disruptive, encourage the disheartened, help the weak, be patient with everyone. Keep going.
Yeah, no, that's good, that's enough. Yeah, every time I saw that where it says help the weak, I thought of Jacky, and actually, like I said, in my one Bible had his name written over that verse.
Wait, I'm just gonna say a few things. I got 25 cards here, but I won't read them all. Jacky was born in 6